this video, I'll be talking about how you can actually apply for admission after the deadline has passed. Now, in this video, we'll be looking at the colleges and universities separately. Now, generally, universities actually have more strict deadlines compared to colleges. You know, for universities, you can apply for a bachelor's degree, you can apply for a graduate diploma, you can apply for master's, you can apply for a PhD. And for colleges, mostly you can either apply for a 2 years diploma, then you can apply for a 1 year graduate certificate program, then you can also apply for a postgraduate diploma program. Some colleges offer that, and usually around 2 years. So let's talk about deadlines. Okay, let's start with universities. Now, for January admission, the deadline is usually the June of the previous year. For May admission, the deadline is usually the November of the previous year. Whereas for September, most of the deadline in universities is usually on the January, February or March. The priority admission deadline is January, mostly January 15th, and then some we have January 1st. Very few have March of that same year, which means if you're planning to apply for September 2023, then the deadline is going to be around January 15th for a lot of schools, and some we have February 1st and March. Okay, now for college is a little bit flexible compared to what you have in the university. Now for September start date, you know, you can still apply between January and May, and you know, just give January to April, just give May for admission review, so which means you still have about June to September to apply for visa. They actually require less for admission, transcript, certificates, you know, CV. They usually don't require letters of recommendation, which is good. And if you are from an English speaking country, you don't need an IELTS. Now, they mostly close admission in colleges around 3 to 4 months to the start date of a program, so just kind of use that to calculate the timing. Now let's talk about universities. After the deadline has passed, what exactly can you do? Now, if you're applying for, you know, either be a bachelor's degree, a postgraduate diploma, or even though it's a course-based master's that you're applying for, or you're applying for a PhD that do not require a server, it is very difficult, you know, once the deadline has passed. But there are a few things you can do. One of them is to actually email the university, especially the admissions team, and ask if they have a rolling based, you know, admission, which means even though the admission has passed, you know, if they don't have too much competition, they can actually still look into your application, right? Just email them, but I can't tell if they're going to say yes or no. And you can also look into other schools, right, to see if their admissions are still open. Now, if you are looking for an entrance scholarship, my recommendation would be try to apply probably 1 or 2 months before the deadline, so that you can have enough time for your letters of recommendation and all of these other things to get to the department before, you know, before they start reviewing application. That way you have all your documents completed even before, you know, the deadline. Now, if you are applying for a research-based master's or PhD and you require a supervisor, let's say for example you want to apply for September 2023, if you're able to secure a supervisor and you still want to apply for September 2023, you can actually talk to your professor, you know, and basically what the professor is going to do is to ask you to apply for the next available date, which is going to be January 2024 or May 2024. So what your professor can do is to talk with the department to actually try to shift, you know, the admission again to September 2023, because the portal is going to be closed. You won't be able to apply for that specific one when the admission has passed. Now, if you're looking for one-on-one mentorship, you know, there's going to be a link in the description to sign up for one-on-one mentorship. You can have a call with me, and then if you just, before you get started with the mentorship, if you want to have a consultation just to know what your profile, you know, works, you know, what's going to be the best for your profile, there's going to be the link in the description. Just check that. Now, if you enjoyed this content so far, why don't consider subscribing to this video and like, so that it help YouTube algorithm recommend this video to other people. Now, let's continue. Now, let's give an example. Let's start with my example. So I actually plan to start my MSc in September 2017. So I applied in March 17 of 2017. I can remember that. And even though the admission deadline was March 1st, I was able to apply. You know, there are some schools, even though the admission deadline has passed, you can still apply. You know, they don't just take that semester off the platform, but some take it off, right? You can't apply. So I was able to apply for September of 2017. So my professor was able to talk to the department, and instead of them to change to approve that September 2017, she was able to actually, you know, change it back to May of 2017. That was amazing, right? So I applied for in April, in March, and I was able to get admission in April to start in May. And you know, as God will have it, I got my visa approved in two weeks plus, and I was able to come before the end of May. Now let me just give an example with my PhD. When I was about finishing my master's, so I wanted to start my PhD in January of 2020. And then I applied for my PhD in September of 2019. So what January was already taken out of the platform. So I applied for May of 2020, right? That was actually during COVID. So when my professor actually spoke with the department, and they were able to bring it back to January, so it actually worked. So let's just kind of summarize this. So if you apply, I'll say apply early so that you have enough time to do about your study permit and all that. I would say 6 to 8 months before the start date of your program. And for course-based masters or BSc or PhD that don't require a supervisor, just check to see if they have rolling admission. And for colleges, that is pretty much good because you can actually apply, you know, even 4 months to the start date of the program, but just give it enough time to so that you can apply for your visa. Now that's about that for this video. I want to really thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe. You know, if you have any specific question, you know, leave the question in the comment section. And if you want one-on-one consultation, there's going to be a link in the description. If you want to sign up for my mentorship, go to GradNext.com and sign up for my mentorship. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.